Today we're looking at Psalm 29, a song of God's majesty, God enthroned, God giving strength to his people, God blessing his people with peace, but God's greatness. And God's greatness is depicted over and through a huge storm, a tremendous storm. Psalm 29. Ascribe to the Lord, O heavenly beings, ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. Ascribe to the Lord the glory of his name. Worship the Lord in holy splendor. The voice of the Lord is over the waters. The God of glory thunders. The Lord over mighty waters. The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty. That's the opening 4 verses. We'll get to the rest shortly. You can see there is a storm of majestic power, and God is over it all. The heavenly beings called to in the first verse, whoever they are to ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. He's more powerful than they are. And how? The glory of his name. Worship him in holy splendor, because his voice is over the waters. The God of glory thunders. The thunder is like his voice over mighty waters. His voice is powerful. His voice is full of majesty. Imagine a huge, great storm at sea, the thunder, the waves, the wind, and God is more powerful than all that. Verse 5, we've come on land. The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. The Lord breaks the cedars of Lebanon. He makes Lebanon skip like a calf and Syrian like a young wild ox. The voice of the Lord flashes forth flames of fire. The voice of the Lord shakes the wilderness. The Lord shakes the wilderness of Kadesh. A little bit of geography. Lebanon, of course, is to the north of Israel. Syrian is Mount Hermon in the extreme north, the other name for it. Kadesh in verse 8 is the extreme south. So from north to south, in a land which is north to south in its direction, north to south, God is all-powerful. His voice is more powerful than even the mighty cedar trees of Lebanon. His voice is more powerful than even Lebanon or Syrian, the great Mount Hermon. His voice is more powerful than anything. It flashes forth flames of fire, lightning. Cut open flames is the meaning of the Hebrew. Lightning, forked lightning coming down. The voice of the Lord shakes the wilderness of Kadesh. Even the desert in the deep south of Israel, God's voice is more powerful than all of that. Now, this psalm is set in ancient Jewish tradition for use on the Feast of Pentecost. Oh, fascinating, isn't it? We've got wind and flame and the voice of God being used in the worship on the Feast of Pentecost. I can't help making a connection with Acts of the Apostles and the tongues of flame and the mighty rushing wind and God speaking. But it's God who is all powerful. The voice of the Lord, verse 9, causes the oaks to whirl and strips the forest bare, and in his temple all say glory. Now, it's a devastating storm. It's a picture of a storm. I'm not sure it's a real storm on that scale that's lifting up the Mediterranean Sea and destroying the trees in Lebanon and flattening or moving Mount Hermon and shaking the wilderness of Kadesh, earthquake as well. It's a picture of the power of God and the power of his voice and his majesty, as all in his temple say glory, or possibly a better translation, everything in his temple, the whole of it says glory, not just the people, but everything. The stones, the objects, the silverware and the gold and the woodwork and all in the temple says glory. And in verses 10 and 11, the Lord sits enthroned over the flood. The Lord sits enthroned as king forever. May the Lord give strength to his people. May the Lord bless his people with peace. There are various words in Hebrew for flood, but this one, the Lord sits enthroned over the flood, is only used in two places. One is here and the other is referring to the flood of Noah's day. It's a devastating flood, an everything flood, a complete total flood. It's not just a river bursting its banks. This is something awesome and majestic, and the Lord sits over that. The greatest flood you could ever imagine, a flood that floods the whole world, and the Lord sits over it, sits enthroned as king forever. He's the all-powerful one. He's powerful over the greatest flood. He's powerful over the greatest desert. He's more powerful than the greatest forest. He can shake the land. He can move the mountains. He's powerful over north and south. He's powerful over the lightning and the thunder and the mighty waters. God is all powerful. And the prayer at the end, may the Lord give strength to his people and bless his people with peace. Amen.